everyone. My name is Pooja Chetri, and I'm the program coordinator at Connecting Dreams Foundation and your host for this session. I welcome you all to another session of Inclusion Adda. Inclusion Adda is an initiative by CDF Transformation that offers a platform for career progression talks, where people from the inclusive and diversity community share their personal and professional achievements and stories, building an inclusive and diverse community. Transformation aims to mainstream the trans community into the society, starting from building knowledge in basic ID and professional edge, and then moving towards mainstream employment or entrepreneurial opportunities. Without further delay, I would love to introduce you to our guest today. We have Dhara with us. They also go by the name Dhaanii, but I've always known they by the name Dhara, so I would just be much comfortable to address you as Dhara today. Today, Dhara will share with us the inspiring story of identity, personal challenges, and overcoming them, and further about how music has been a crucial part of their life, leading the way to self-exploration and a passion turned profession. As a multidisciplinary artist, Dhara has innumerable achievements in transportation and graphic designing. The sky is the only limit, is what Dhara says. Creativity has none. Dhara, welcome to Inclusion Adda, and thank you for taking your time to be with us. It's an absolutely pleasure for us and privilege to be hearing to you today and your story today.
I would go by my given name is actually Dhara Manu, and I prefer going by the name Dhara or Dhaanii. My preferred pronouns are they and them, but I'm actually cool with he, him, and she, her as well. And I basically identify as non-binary trans, gender fluid. And when it comes to my work, I am a designer as well as a musician. So I've always been surrounded by creativity throughout my life.
Yes. So Dhara, that is true in the sense that all the time that I have seen you and I've met you, I've always been around music with you and always have been. We have been talking about creative, so I do not have a single doubt about you, about what a inspiring and kind of a creative artist you are. So Dhara, अब हम ऐसी अब session start करते हैं, and I wanted. चाहती थी कि आप शुरू पे play करो, but I think we can play at the end and we will just start with the questions. So whenever we have more people joining, if from our fellows and other people, they do not miss on what an amazing artist you are.
Sure.
So Dhara, पहला question हमारा ये है कि when did you realize about your identity that the assigned sex at birth was not something that you identified with? When was the time when you realized that?
Well, I was actually very, very young back then. Like I was around 5 or 6 years old. Whenever I used to go to school, like I used to find myself a little different from the other people around me. Even at my home, where my parents live right now, I used to go into my sister's room, like open her cupboard and put on dresses, and I was pretty comfortable in that. So that made me feel like if this is something different from other people, but I actually feel a lot like myself like that. So that was the time when I figured it out, how I am. But back then I did not had this kind of terminologies, which made me with the code key. Okay. That's how I identify.
Dhara, ये story बहुत ही inspiring है. Dhara, just to add this, I think I did not mention it in the beginning. हमारे speakers Hindi भी बोलते हैं, and then if it's a mix of both the language, it would be much better for us to reach a bigger audience. But Dhara, what an inspiring story. I think it's just sometimes that we get to hear someone at the age of 5, 6 having that confidence in recognizing their identity, and we have always been very proud of you. Yes, for that. So Dhara, as you say that you were just 5 or 6 years old, तो जब आपने recognize किया कि okay, there are different things that I like a different way. I mean, like be not very boy, or sometimes you would have more of feminine side and sometimes a more of masculine side kind of. Yeah. But how did you cope up with the challenges? I'm sure कि आपने बहुत challenges face किए होंगे in the journey while trying to acknowledge that. So tell us something about that.
So the journey is actually pretty long, and meanwhile, I actually went through a lot of ups and downs. And this is the time when I'm actually pretty stagnant in a good way. So in the very beginning, like earlier, my parents, they used to take it as like I'm just a kid and this is just a joke. But there was a time when few things happened, and because of that thing, later on, I was sent to a boarding school, and that was an all boys boarding school. So it was an 8 year journey, the boarding school, which was full of downs and a little bit of ups. That's it. And it was a time where I actually has to suppress myself because studying in an all boys boarding school, which was not co-education. So it was pretty difficult over there. You have to portray to be someone else, having a mask on, uh, like not showing who you exactly are, because there's this conditioning of the society. It's how people are judged on their way of behavior, or the way of like how do they dress or how do they do their hair and everything. Like people have their own perception and the conditioning which has been like very stereotypical. So that was the time. And later on, after my like high school, my after my 12th, I went to Dehradun for my graduation, which was a change in my life. Like I started being myself. I started like exploring myself, like taking myself on a journey of explorations and meeting people who belong to the queer community, understanding them. And that's when I came to realize, okay, that how I feel, what I like, how I am, it's basically gender fluidity. And that's how I was like stuck over there. I'm like, okay, this is what gender fluidity is, and this is how I am. Since that time, I came out to a lot of people. I came out to my family, uh, which was a little like down part at the very beginning, but later on, they started to believe in me and like how do I put this thing in my life? Expect me to like accept me how like the way I am.
Dhara, I'm sure that requires a lot of strength and to go through that and be who you are. I mean, we know when people see you, I'm sure there are people still under their closet who have not come out. And when they hear you, many will be inspired about that. Dhara, you said that you were in all boys school all through your school life and all kind of. तो
Yeah,
ऐसे ऐसे वहां पे जैसे मैं समझती हूँ कि अगर आप सारे बॉय स्कूल पे थे तो मतलब
mhm,
सारे लड़के ही होते होंगे सो यू माइट हैव
yeah,
टू कीप कि वो मेरी आइडेंटिटी ये बहुत छुपा के रखना पड़ता था होगा
yes,
तो वैसे पे आप टाइप्स के ऐसे होता है कि कभी कभी हमारे अंदर से भी इतने चैलेंजेस होते हैं कि हमारी भावनाएं इतनी ज्यादा होती है कि हमें डिफरेंट हम बिहेव करें पर हम कर नहीं सकते बिकॉज वी आर
uh,
सो स्कैर्ड टाइम्स टू कम आउट राइट तो
yeah.
आप प्लीज वो टाइम के बारे में हमारे साथ थोड़ा शेयर करेंगे
So uh, the frustration and all the things. Earlier, I used to be a pretty good student. Like I used to be like, I never used to study though. But I still used to score pretty good in examinations. But there some incidents which happened back in the school, which made my grades go down because of the traumas and all the stuff. And then I started channelizing my emotions in my art, and that's how I got into like creative field, designing stuff and all the things. And I would apologize for not using Hindi a lot, because whenever I speak, I'm pretty like more comfortable in having a conversation in English, but like I would try to say some things in Hindi as well. Yeah.
सो धारा जैसे आपने मेंशन किया कि अभी आर्ट के बारे पे आर्ट हेल्प यू कोप दैट एंड चैनलाइज इमोशंस दैट
Yeah.
दैट यू वर फीलिंग एट दैट राइट डायरेक्शन तो हमें प्लीज कि किस तरह की आर्ट और आपने कैसे उस पे प्रोग्रेस किया एंड अभी हाउ डू यू फील नाउ
Okay. So I used to paint and design. I used to make paintings, caricatures, pottery, clay se saman banana and all the things, which helped me put my emotions like in a better way to express my feelings, to express myself more. Because generally आप किसी लड़के से ज्यादा एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करते हो कि वो ज्यादा गाना गाए वगैरह, डांस करे या फिर पेंट करे, आर्ट करे. उन लोगों के लिए, सबके लिए होता है कि पढ़े लिखे इंजीनियर बनेगा, डॉक्टर बनेगा, सीए बनेगा. तो ये सारी चीजें होती है. बट आई चोज टू बी लाइक टुवर्ड्स द आर्ट, just so that I can express myself a little more, which I was been suppressing throughout my life.
So Dhara, I know that you are an amazing musician. आपका एक बैंड भी है, and I know that you have even composed music Bollywood movies के लिए. हमारे साथ थोड़ा उसके बारे पे शेयर करेंगे.
So I have worked for a couple of movies. Recently, we are working on one of the drafts, and the movie would be about trans community.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would be like one of the music producers for that movie. So it's all classified right now, so I won't be able to share the names. But hopefully within a year you will see the movie in theaters, because that's what we are planning to do. And when it comes to my band, our band is basically a pan-India band which is called Malhar. We have done shows with like in several of the states in several different occasions, including IIT Roorkee, as well as one of the most famous carnivals of India, which is called Mussoorie Winterline Carnival. And yeah, hence that was how my music journey started in a professional way. Before that, I used to just play music for myself. Then I started channelizing it and started figuring out how can I use what I do in music to reach other people as well.
That's great.
Dhara, so I
Absolutely great to know, Dhara. And here's an offer for you. So
Okay.
the next time we have our Dream Awards, or we have any kind of like a big event
Sure.
for Connecting Dreams Foundation, we are
Mhm.
definitely going to kind of call you and invite you and your band to kind of play for us. So
Sure.
yeah, so that's something that Pooja promises you, and we
Okay.
hope to be able to see you kind of playing in person.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Let's go collaborate.
Dhara, I know you have a lot of feathers on your cap, and it's every day is a progression for you. आप हर एक दिन आप अपने कैरियर के लैडर पे चल रहे हो. तो मैंने आज I was just fortunate enough, and I've always been, तो मैंने आज मल्हार के गाने बहुत सुने, and I was really inspired by the lyrics and all. जब आप lyrics लिखते हो तो आप क्या सोच के लिखते हो? What inspires you to write lyrics as such?
Well, what inspires us to write these kind of songs is the basic things which are happening around us, and we're just not looking at those things. We're just neglecting it, because that's how we have evolved. कि ठीक है, अगर कोई पानी को गंदा कर रहा है तो गंदा हो रहा है वो. But अगर like riots वगैरह हो रहे हैं तो हो रहे हैं. We would just make it a like a thing for the news, but not something जो जिसके ऊपर एक्चुअली में सही से फोकस किया जाए. हिंदू मुसलमान, like Hindus are killing Muslims and Muslims are killing Hindu. Basically the trigger points, they like it, these are the trigger points are the key to the creation of a music.
Wonderful. So Dhara, I think we would like to listen to one of your song now, and then start on with our second part of the talk. Yes?
Sure. Okay. I'm not really sure if the guitar would be completely audible or not.
It's good.
It's actually nice, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing a cover right now, and at the end of the session, I might sing one of my originals. The song is called Sham.
Okay.
शाम भी कोई जैसे है नदी, लहर लहर जैसे बह रही है. कोई अनसुनी कोई अनकही बात धीमे धीमे कह रही है कहीं ना कहीं जागे हुई है कोई आरज़ू कहीं ना कहीं खोए हुए से है मैं और तू para para एक खामोशी दोनों की para para खामोशी दोनों जो गुमसुम ये फिजाएं जो कहती सुनती है ये निगाहें जो गुमसुम ये फिजाएं है ना da 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 सुहानी सुहानी है ये कहानी जो खामोशी सुनाती है जिसे तूने चाहा होगा वो तेरा मुझे वो ये बताती है मगन हूँ पर न जानूं कब आने वाला है वो पल जब होंगे हो धीमे खिलेगा दिल का ये कमल para 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 जो कहती सुनती है निगाहें जो गुमसुम है इंतजार है ना da 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 ये कैसा समय है कैसा समा है क्या रातें पिघल रही ये सब कुछ हंसी है सब कुछ जवा है ये जिंदगी में चल रही जगमगाती झलमलाती पलक पलक पे ख्वाब ये सब ये हवाएं गुनगुनाए वो की चला जवाब है para para ये खामोशी दोनों para para ये बेहोशी दोनों So that was Sham.
So a big round of applause first of all. ये गाना शायद हम सभी का favorite होगा because it's such a good song kind
Exactly.
of. So I think you have just done it. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Amazing, Dhara. Thank you so much for doing that. And you sound wonderful. And your guitar playing skills have always been
Thank
amazing.
you so much.
So Dhara, moving on to another part. I know that you do a lot of photo shoot. आप बहुत ज़्यादा photo shoots करते हो. आपके ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा inspiring articles cover होती है coming from the community and all. And you are doing great music industry पे भी आप अच्छे से progress कर रहे हो. And other than that कि आप एक transportation और graphic designer भी हो. आप please हमें आपके achievements के बारे पे कुछ share करेंगे. I remember कि आपने अपना ही बाइक ये सब भी डिजाइन किया है for which कि आपने patents लिए ये. So I know you have done a lot of things. So हम बहुत खुश होंगे अगर हम आपके achievements के बारे में सुने.
So since I was a child, I was pretty fascinated with automobiles, specifically with bikes. So there was a time that I wanted to have a bike for myself, and my situations were not allowing me to do so. So there was this one bike at a house, and it belonged to my uncle. So I asked him if I can get the keys for that. And he asked me what I'm gonna do with the keys. Then I told him that I'm planning to uh, customize the whole bike for myself and like ride it throughout the time. So that was one of my very first achievements which I did. Like I opened a bike on my own without any help and started designing it. I learned how to weld. I learned how to um, dent, and which resulted in Kasturi, which is the name of my bike.
That's really nice. So, Dhara, very curious क्योंकि आपने कहा कि आपने अपने बाइक को खुद ही बनाया, खुद ही डेंटिंग वगैरह भी किया। तो कैसा लगा? मतलब आपको कुछ भी नहीं आता था बाइक के बारे में, मालूम नहीं है उसका गियर बॉक्स कैसे चलता है, क्या कैसे होता है? तो क्या कस्टमाइजेशन किया उसमें? Did you kind of, remove the silencers, fit in something new? क्या किया?
Well, I made the whole new tank. I chopped off the seat, which was more like a cafe racer,
हाँ.
and I changed the exhaust. I recalibrated the engine, like with the help of a couple of people. I learned how to weld so that I can make exactly what I want to do with the big bike, and started drafting it on paper, and which resulted in a very compact but a very practical bike. And that was how my journey began in the customization of bike. And later on, we actually had a stall in 2018. Uh, Not exactly in 2018, in 2017, yeah, 2017 in Auto Expo,
Okay.
which showed the customized bike which we did, which included a restoration of a bike and couple of customizations, and
Oh.
one bike which was built straight out of scratch.
Fantastic, fantastic. So when you say that, like you modified and restoration तो चलिए बिल्कुल अलग लेवल पे होता है. तो
Yes.
मॉडिफिकेशन जो भी किए आपने तो
Hmm.
आपने क्या चूज किया मतलब एनफील्ड उठाई या फिर एक बुलेट उठाया और फिर उसको कस्टमाइज किया तो आपका बेस
So
क्या था?
yeah. So when it comes to customization for me, it's not just going to be the engine or something. Anything which I can connect with. So you just take an example, like for example, Enfield. It's very big and powerful.
Yes.
So I took one of the Enfield, like couple of Enfields I took, and redrafted the whole chassis as well. I made the whole chassis out of scratch, making the displacement, how far the bolt's gonna be, like how can I place the engine, and later on deciding on how the fuel tank would go, like what would be the rake angle of the motorcycle, how the seating would be, placement would be, starting from scratch, just the engine. Uh, One of the Javas which I made into a cafe racer, which had two fuel tanks. Uh, with the cap, it had a small liquor bottle to open up, and the transparent fuel tanks. So you will have the idea how much fuel you have with the motorcycle as well. So that's how I
फैंटास्टिक
started
इतना मुझे
customizing.
इतना बाइक्स के बारे में नहीं आता है बट आई कैन अप्रिशिएट कि आपने बहुत मेहनत की और बहुत क्रिएटिविटी लगाई एंड मतलब जो मुझे इम्प्रेस कर रहा है एट दिस पॉइंट इज दैट गिटार छोड़ो ग्राफिक डिजाइन छोड़ो अब आपने बाइक्स जो इतने मैकेनाइज्ड और इतना डिफिकल्ट काम होता है उसमें भी अपना पूरा मन लगा के कुछ ना कुछ नया करने की कोशिश की है.
It used to take me like hours and hours in a day to just open up a one part and figure it out how to work, like how does that particular part works, what like, and how if I'll put it back together, how what would be the positioning would be for one particular element of that one particular part. So it used to take a lot of times when I used to do that.
एंड अगर आई डोंट नो आपका बैकग्राउंड क्या है अगर मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग या उस तरीके का कुछ है तो फिर भी थोड़ा सा लगता है कि कुछ बैकग्राउंड होगा पर अगर कुछ भी नहीं आता है तो देन तो आई वुड से वेरी डिफिकल्ट बट वेरी
I was a commerce student.
See.
So these were all just the dreams which I wanted, and somehow they aligned,
Right.
and I did what I wanted to do.
Yes, I think वही सबसे बड़ी चीज है कि to do what you want to do, और जब
Yeah,
उसमें पैशन आता है तो फिर सामने शायद कोई रोक नहीं सकता. What do you say?
exactly. Exactly. Like you don't have to limit yourself with one thing. Whatever comes to you, it comes to you for a reason. So that's what my perspective is when it comes to about having multiple hobbies or anything.
धारा, so that has been amazing कि आपने इतने अच्छे से स्टोरी शेयर की. I mean, like right from music to graphic designing to transportation designing, बहुत ज्यादा एरिया पे आपने क्रिएटिविटी है और आप वहाँ पे अपना क्रिएटिविटी अच्छे से शो करते हो. धारा, वी आर ऑल्सो वेरी हैप्पी टू इंट्रोड्यूस यू. आज हमारे साथ यहाँ स्वरा जी हैं. स्वरा थापा इंडिया की फर्स्ट ट्रांस डीजे है इन इंडिया, एंड she has hosted many public events and all, and I think you would love to meet her. Swaraji, welcome to Inclusion Adda, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Pooja, and nice to see Dhara and the team. Simi
Hello,
ma'am,
Shobha.
hi, Simi ma'am, Pia ji, and all are here. I get less time to connect, but it was very pleasure to heard some community fellow to doing such a great things, and as Simi ma'am said, I am so mesmerized to know that you have done good thing to do this mechanical as well. So I'm so proud. But I just wanted to ask you a question if you are comfortable to answer. But
Sure, sure.
just the curiosity only,
Mhm.
not don't take it so much of seriousness.
Yeah.
Just I wanted to know, it's for all the community members, as I'm also the same in the things. तो मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ आपसे, जैसे when this message come, there is clearly written, creativity has no limit.
Mhm.
Is that the reason that LGBT person or trans person are most creative, so that we are not in the must succeed एट द टाइम कि हमारे पास बहुत ज़्यादा क्रिएटिविटी होती है, इसलिए हम एक चीज़ में ना टिक के अलग अलग चीज़ करते हैं. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल ऑफ माइन एज वेल, आई एम इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइजर, डीजे एंड चॉकलेट मेकर, ऑल्सो जॉब पर्सन. तो शायद ये 4-5 चूज करने की वजह से शायद मैं जहाँ इतना सक्सेसफुल होनी थी वहाँ पे नहीं हो पाए थे. और बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो मीन्स अपने करियर एकदम बदल देते हैं. जैसे कि मान लो कोई डांसिंग में बहुत अच्छा जा रही थी, जो ट्रांस पर्सन हो या एलजीबीटी पर्सन हो, देन ही या सी सर्टेनली टर्न अराउंड कि नहीं मुझे दूसरा चीज करना है, नहीं मुझे तीसरा चीज करना है. इज दैट द रीजन दैट द बीइंग मोस्ट क्रिएटिव पर्सन मे बी द एलजीबीटी पर्सन्स आर सम बैक इन द सक्सीड, या
Uh,
डोंट
so,
यू फील?
Sir, like, what my perspective about this thing is, uh, creativity is something which doesn't come like after learning something. You should have like you have curiosity. So the more curious you would be, the better person you could be. And sometimes what happens is, uh, so there's this one quote: "A jack of all is a master of none." तो इसको लोग काफी ज्यादा नेगेटिव वे में लेते हैं कि लोग सक्सेसफुल हुए जा रहे हैं, बट जो हर काम थोड़ा थोड़ा करता है, लोग उसको ज्यादा जानते नहीं है, क्योंकि लाइक वो अपना नॉर्मल लाइफ रहने लगते हैं. लेकिन अगर ये कोट जो है कोई पूरा पढ़े, तो इट्स अ जैक ऑफ ऑल इज अ मास्टर ऑफ नन, बट स्टिल इज बेटर देन द मास्टर ऑफ वन. तो कंपेरेटिवली देखा जाए तो जो बहुत सारी चीजें करता है, they have way more opportunities than the person who just does one thing, because उसके लिए अगर कोई opportunity open up होएगी, so that opportunity would be related to just one thing. Just take an example of yourself. You are a DJ as well, तो आपको DJ का भी है, so you can go and play like be a DJ in some party. आप चॉकलेट भी बनाते हैं, So you can start your own thing for like making chocolates and selling them out. So it's way how you take it forward. For me, my creativity is I try to put my creativity in everything I do, whether playing music, even if I'm making a website or designing a website, I would put my elements, my creativity, my thought process all along with it. But it doesn't really matter if I get famous or get really, really good job, but I should be happy in what I'm doing. That what makes me more happy, and it would make me feel more like I have achieved what I wanted to
And
achieve.
that's
I'm not
very
really
nice.
sure if it answers your question, but
No,
that
no,
is my
no.
perspective and my point of view.
It was very it was very good also. Like I too believe in कि where creativity ends, the talent of person या person dies. मुझे भी ऐसे ही लगती है. तो मैं वैसा नहीं हूँ कि नहीं मैं हर जगह मैं वो हूँ, सेटिस्फाई हूँ जो कुछ भी करती हूँ, क्योंकि एट द लास्ट द सेटिस्फेक्शन, सेल्फ सेटिस्फेक्शन इज द नीडेड. कुछ भी करो, लास्ट में अपनी अगर आपकी सेटिस्फेक्शन ना हो तो फिर आपको नहीं लगेगा कि हाँ मैंने ये करी. तो थैंक यू सो मच.
Sure. Yes.
Thank you for sharing your views, and thank you so much guys for making this inclusive Adda so successful at the time. Each time we invite many persons, many LGBT fellows, that they share their views and the things, and this inclusive Adda has also provided many LGBT artists, many LGBT entrepreneurs, many LGBT activists of placement as well. They are the speakers, they are the person to change the lives. Thank you so much, Simi ma'am. I'm the team, CDF Connecting Dream Foundation team, and thank you, the host of today, she's Pooja. Nice to know, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Surya. Thank you for participating and asking इतना मतलब आपने अहम क्वेश्चन पूछा कि ऐसा क्यों होता है कि जो क्रिएटिव लोग होते हैं वो क्रिएटिव हर एक जगह पे होते हैं. एंड मेरे ख्याल से सवाल तो आपका क्रिएटिव ही और अच्छा था ही, बट उसका जवाब मेरे ख्याल से उससे भी ज्यादा खूबसूरत था कि I will always remember that, like, okay, like what he said, that master of none but better than master of only one. तो बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज डेफिनेटली आपके पास आएंगी, क्योंकि भिन्न भिन्न डिफरेंट क्षेत्रों में आपकी पहचान होगी, आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग होगी. और हम लोग कभी भी एक ही चीज या ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट की जिंदगी में नहीं रहते हैं. मल्टीपल कलर्स आर देयर, एंड जो लाइफ की ब्यूटी है मेरे ख्याल से वो जब सब कलर्स एक साथ आते हैं तभी सबसे ज्यादा अच्छी होती है. तो इस ख्याल को आगे लेते हुए आई विल हैंड इट ओवर टू पूजा.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Swara ji. In fact, I'm so happy that आपने अच्छा क्वेश्चन पूछा. शायद हमने भी ये नहीं सोचा था, we wrote it, but it's so happy कि आपने इतने अच्छे से वो कैप्शन को पढ़ के वहां से क्वेश्चन निकाला. And thank you, Dhara, for a wonderful answer. Dhara, moving on to next question. अगर आप as a person who has achieved बहुत कुछ इन लाइफ, वी हैव मेनी फेलोज हमारे CDF प्रोग्राम से भी, जैसे स्वरा जी द फर्स्ट ट्रांस डीजे इन इंडिया, एंड वी हैव पिया जी जो कि पेजेंट विनर है 2019 की. वो अभी हमारे साथ नहीं है, बट वी हैव मेनी पीपल इन CDF इंक्लूजन, जहाँ कि हम ऐसे मेनी फेलोज को ट्रेनिंग देते हैं, एंड देन दे काइंड ऑफ डू वेरी वेल. एज यू सेड कि आप लोग क्रिएटिव होते हो, आप लोग टैलेंटेड होते हो, बस आप शो कर देते हो, और एंड देन देयर इज सो मच फॉर यू टू अचीव. Dhara, what message would you give to everybody in the LGBTIQA community if you could today? What would be that message?
There's just only one thing which I follow. It made a lot of sense to me. It might made a lot of sense to other people as well. It's like when you're being true to yourself about who you are and what you are, like it will gonna open up a lot of ways to face what you're facing. You'll get different ideas to do it. All you have to do is be true to yourself, and the things will fall back in line, because there's nothing you are pretending to be. So everything's gonna which is gonna happen would be genuine. It's not gonna be like something which has been placed by someone else. It'll be all to yourself and all by yourself. And it's like there's this
Dhara,
one. Yeah, there's this one
please
old
go
saying.
ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So the saying is like, God helps those who help themselves. So by being true to myself, I'm helping me out, and so is the God is helping me out as well.
आई थिंक वो एक बहुत ही ज्यादा द मोस्ट इंस्पायरिंग वर्ड आपने बोल दिया यहाँ कि अगर आप खुद की मदद कर रहे हो तो भगवान आपकी मदद कर रहा है काइंड ऑफ सो इट रियली रिफ्लेक्ट्स कि हमें अपनी मदद करनी चाहिए बिफोर वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट एनीबडी एल्स टू कम एंड हेल्प अस so I think that's a very strong statement and strong word that you have passed on, Dhara. Dhara, I just want you to highlight when you came out how it was, how was it for you? Was matlab, were your family very accepting? Were your friends and society were very accepting of your identity? या आपको वहाँ भी थोड़ा convincing ऐसा करना पड़ा? या till now are they not convinced of your identity and they have not accepted you?
So when I first come out, I'm actually pretty good with dates about the things which has happened in my life to me. So it was 2019 and it was 23rd of May. I was on my way to my internship where I was building bikes again. I was driving that time. I felt like crying because I did not wanted to portray who I was not anymore, especially to the people who are really, really close to me. It would make me feel like they're living in the shadows. So I called up my sister. I was on the way and I was crying. So she asked me what happened. So I asked her कि I'm not really sure कि आप किस तरीके से react करोगे, but I identify as gender fluid person. And she was really, really happy when I came out to her. And she asked me if I have told this to my mother. And I denied that I haven't told her because I am not really sure how she's gonna react. The very same night, I went to my mother and told her that I'm gender fluid. But like, it was really difficult for her to understand and cope up with the fact that I'm not like the other guys out there. I'm creatively different from them. So it took my parents a little time, and after a couple of years, and now uh, the things are changing gradually, and they're falling back to the places. So it was not really really good at the very beginning, but right now the things are way better than what they were earlier.
We are very happy, Dhara, to hear कि आप कैसे आए and very glad to hear कि आपकी sister इतनी understanding थी. Though आपकी mother को it took some time, but I'm happy कि वो धीरे धीरे accept कर रहे हैं and they are trying to understand कि not all are same and there is beauty in each different being. So that is wonderful to hear, Dhara, kind of. And I just wanted to ask you about how does your day-to-day life look like? मतलब कि आपके जैसे हमारी जैसे होती है सुबह उठो जाओ ऐसे वैसे आपकी day-to-day life कैसी दिखती है?
Well, my day-to-day life, it's always on the calls, client calls. And when it comes to my workspace, they are pretty chill. It's pretty good space to work. I'm pretty happy doing what I'm doing right now. It's just waking up early, having breakfast, going to the studio, working, coming back. I go and skate with a bunch of people. Like the skating and the music, like they go hand in hand, though they're completely different things. So one is more like very adventurous and kind of like messy, but where it's come to music, it's like very soothing and calming. So they all go in hand in hand, and they both work like my stress buster for the day. So I end up playing guitar by the time I fall asleep, or maybe watch something in the TV that goes around. But most of the day, it's like working. Either I'll be working on music, or I'll be working for websites and UI and UX design, visual designing basically. That's how my day-to-day life looks like.
वंडरफुल धारा। आई थिंक कि शायद आपके कुछ डिजाइन्स मैंने दिखे हैं, बट अगर आप कुछ डिजाइन्स हमारे साथ भी शेयर कर दो तो हम आज जो भी यहाँ हमारे साथ प्रेजेंट है और जो भी आपके वीडियो दिखेंगे हम उनके साथ भी शेयर कर देंगे। या दे विल बी वेरी हैप्पी एंड वी विल बी वेरी।
I would be able to share you the link of my works, but like I'm not using my laptop. I do not have my laptop currently, so I won't be able to screen share those things. Otherwise, I would have loved to do that. But I can definitely share the existing links of my portfolios if you would like to see them.
Yes, actually हमारे fellows में हम कितने हैं धारा who are really interested in music, who are really interested in dancing. You can see Swaraji being the trans DJ, and ये creative sides वाले बहुत ज़्यादा हैं हमारे group पे. So this clearly comes as something where actually we look at each other and think like, okay, fine. I mean, like this is a space for us to be, and yeah, it's all right to be creative. It's all right to be different, and it's all right to be you, kind of. So yes. Thank you so much, Dhara. Simi ma'am, if you have any questions or if anybody has any question.
No questions, just a request. I'm waiting to listen to what Dhara had promised earlier, कि कुछ वो अपना original हमें music and this thing सुनाएंगे. So I'm just waiting for that.
Over to you, Dhara. We are all ears.
Sure. So the song is called Maya Milina Ram. And as I mentioned that the key of writing songs for me, it's like the trigger points. So the song I wrote when there was this incident back in 2020 about a lady being stabbed in the broad daylight by her own husband. Nobody did anything, like nobody tried to save her. All the people done was they got their phones out and started recording what was happening. Even if one person would have tried to stop that guy, that lady would have been alive. So that's the point for writing this song. It's called Maya Millinera. वो चौराहे पे देख पर आए लाज रखे ना कोई मर गई सबकी आत्मा मनुष्य बचा न कोई वो चौराहे पे देख पर आए लाज रखे ना कोई मर गई सबकी आत्मा मनुष्य बचा न कोई अरे मनुष्य बचा न कोई मनुष्य बचा न कोई अरे रोवत है गीता यहाँ अरे रोवत है गीता यहाँ बचता है माया मिली ना राम ओ माया मिली ना राम ओ माया मिली ना राम प्रलाप करे बुद्धिजीवी सबको अपना स्वार्थ देश में आशा है क्या बात करे बुद्धिजीवी सबको अपना स्वार्थ देश में आशा है अरे माया मिली ना अरे माया मिली ना अरे माया मिली ना अरे माया मिली ना So that was Maya Millinera.
Amazing, and like like I always get very emotional जब ऐसी कुछ चीजें होती हैं जहाँ पे पता चलता है कि किसी भी म्यूजिक किसी भी लिरिक्स के पीछे वो ट्रिगर इवेंट क्या था, तो एक्सट्रीमली सैड इवेंट, बट जिसे कहते हैं कि म्यूजिक में ढाल के थोड़ा सा एक्सेप्टेंस आ जाता है और शायद जो उसको सुनेगा वो भी सोचेगा कि हाँ शायद ये गलत हुआ, और अगर मेरे सामने ऐसा कुछ हो तो शायद मैं ना होने दूं। तो थैंक यू सो
Exactly.
मच, थैंक यू सो मच, आपने इतना अच्छा एक मतलब एक इतनी घिनौनी हरकत को इतने अच्छे तरीके से आगे लेके गए।
Thank you so much.
थैंक यू सो मच अगेन धारा। हम तो ऐसे ही आपके साथ रह के
Yeah.
गाने सुनते ही रह जाएंगे। Yeah, but it has been amazing to have you. बहुत ही अच्छा लगा कि आज हमारे साथ आप ज्वाइन हुए, आपने अपने पर्सनल लाइफ, प्रोफेशनल लाइफ और अपने टैलेंट को भी इतने अच्छे से हमारे साथ आज इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे शेयर किया। हम सभी वी आर वेरी प्रिविलेज्ड एंड ईच वन ऑफ यू हैव बीन वेरी ग्रेट टुडे। स्वरा जी, सिमी मैम, निशु, हेमंत, आप सब जो हमारे साथ जुड़े, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट। धारा एंड धारा, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग हियर विद
It's
अस
my
टुडे।
pleasure to be here as well. Like, thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, it's a pleasure, and really look forward to, like, to seeing you play in one of our CDF's program and live kind of,
Sure,
and it would be very good. Yes.
sure, definitely.
Thank you. So thank you so much, everybody. We will be ending our Inclusion Adda session for today. And we have had Dhara with us, and they have shared wonderful, inspiring story. And we will be soon sending out the video, the recorded version, for anybody who wish to see that. So thank you, everybody who could connect today. And for the ones जो आज हमारे साथ जुड़ नहीं पाए, I hope कि आप ये video दिखे, and we will talk and we will connect more with Dhara in the future. Thank you, Dhara.
Thank you so much.